Hello, welcome. Let's have a look at this question under mechanics. We are still on resultant vectors. So a body is acted on by forces 1, 2, and 3. We have to calculate the magnitude and the direction of the resultant forces. Remember, in finding the magnitude, we are picking the aspect where we transform the vectors from the magnitude direction form to column vector. We can also move it along their respective axis, but we are stuck to the first principle. So if I look at the first force, which is having a magnitude of 16 Newton, a direction of 180 degree, in order to resolve this force in the component form, I pick the magnitude 6, then the sine of the angle 180, magnitude 6, the cos of the angle 180 degree. Then we compute this in our calculator. Yeah, we'll be having sine 180 being 0, so the component here will be 0. Cos 180 give you negative 1, so we have negative 16. Then we add the unit to it. So this is the vector column form of this force. Let's see the second force, magnitude of 50 Newton, direction of 40 degree. If I resolve that force into the component form, it should be 50, the sine of the angle 40 degree, 50, the cos of the angle 40 degree. Let's resolve that and see what that will give us. And that will be giving us 32 point, let's say 14 for the component on the x-axis. Then 50 cos 40 will also be giving us 38.30. Then we add our unit. Let's go for the final one. Force 3, the magnitude of 28 Newton on a bearing of 150 degree. So resolving that force will give you 28 on the sine of 150, 28 on the cos of 150. Let's resolve that on the calculator. 28 sine 150. So that will be giving us 14 on the x component. Then on the y component, we have negative 24.25. And that gives us also Newton. So we have all the three forces being resolved in the vector form. What next to find? We are asked to find magnitude. In finding the magnitude of the resultant force, so we can say that the magnitude, okay, let's just find the resultant force. So our resultant force R will be equals to the addition of the first force, the second force, and the third force. So what do we have for the first force? We have 0 minus 16 plus second will be 32.14, 38.30, plus the third one will be 14 and negative 24.25. Let's combine them all and see 0 plus 32.14 plus 14. On the y component, we have negative 16 plus 38.30. This is negative because this is taking power over that. So we have minus 24.25. So we compute the x component and compute the y component and see the result. So when we add this, we are going to have our resultant equals to the top one being 46.14. Then if you add the down one, we have negative 48.95. So this is in Newton. So we need to find the resultant, okay, the magnitude. So we need to find the magnitude of the resultant force. So the magnitude of this equals to the square root of the square of 46.14 plus negative 48.95 square. We square that and put it under the root. And if you square the first one here, that will be giving you 2,128.8996. Then plus, if you square this, because it's a square, the negative will not have effect. It will be cancelled out. So I should be left with the square as 2396.1025. Let's add all that together and see. And if you compute all, we should be having 4,525.0021. And let's put all this under the root and see what our answer will be. And if you do that, you should be having 67 point, let's say one decimal place, right? 0.3, that is one decimal place. So let's see, we are talking of resultant, so we have the force being added to it, one decimal place. All right, so this is the magnitude. The question asks for the magnitude and the same time asks for what? The direction of this force. So let's find the direction and see. So for the direction, what we do is first we need to represent our resultant force in a rough diagram. This is our north, the same time as what? The y axis. So I am having positive value for the x, meaning I am moving on this axis. I have negative for y, so I should be in this quadrant here. So if I am here, the distance I am measuring is 46.14. If I am moving here, the distance I am measuring here to meet this point is also 48.95. Okay, let me just indicate it here. 48.95. Here will be negative 48.95. But I am looking for the distance, not the direction. So the negative shows where the y-axis value is what? Going. Now we need to find the angle this force make with the x-axis, that acute angle. So in looking for that, we have tan of that angle equals to the opposite side, 48.95 divided by the adjacent, 46.14. I need theta, so I have the tan inverse of this fraction, 48.95, 46.14. Let's put that in our calculator and see the value of that angle. Okay, if you do that, you should be having 46.69, so 47 degree to the nearest word, whole number, or the nearest degree. Now remember, we are looking for the direction of the force, which is always measured from the north. And measure from the north, you measure an angle of 90 before you come to the theta, which is what? 47. So we go for the actual measurement or the actual direction. So therefore, the actual direction measured from the north. Remember, we measured a value of 90 degree, then we measure 47 degree, and that will be giving us 137. So we have 137 degree. But remember, we can represent our resultant force in its magnitude and what? Direction form. So this magnitude will be 67.3. Then the direction will be what? 137. So by conclusion, we can say therefore the resultant force of which is R is given by the magnitude and what direction, just like the question was presented in the beginning. All right, this is episode number 21, which is used to text the concept we developed from the previous episode, as in finding the magnitude and direction of forces that are coplanar, which are in a plane. All right, thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.